All right. Blessings. Hello, Dr. Joe Vertino, spiritual guide, author, musician, and Reiki master, Usui healer, here today with my technically second synonymous SAT word, I think, with peace sign, second, 1, 2, ROES Bless installment on video. I made one yesterday that was unfortunately got halted, it seemed, maybe because I shared it. So I'm making another one, and they're all going to go on my YouTube, which is impossible for them to be hidden from anybody's view. So anyways, so we, well, I guess as a master educator, technically this is jumping right into ROES Bless, even though it's kind of a preface. The thing about true mastery of education is that in order to achieve, so we have to understand that the setting, the goal, is to actually just simply have the people who are the audience receiving education. That's the goal, right? So us having zero, um, if there's people in the audience and we assume the position as a master educator of no the denial of the need for potentially all of the audience to require prerequisite knowledge in order to receive the education. So what I'm saying there is, what if you teach in a way in which you do not have demand that the people listening, like literally if someone just turned their head like in a target and they started listening to you, preferably in the beginning of a kind of a phrase or kind of a point that they could actually glean and receive knowledge and real education without having to have I think it's called a priori, prior knowledge, right? So that's something, that's true in that kind of way. And then I of course understand, kind of, as you go on, right? I mean, it has to be that way, because then as you gain knowledge, the knowledge that you gain is permanent, so to speak, is there. And then the I guess you could say the way that existence is that, it's going on from there. That once we learn addition, we can learn other formulas in math that include plus signs, that include addition. um so anyways, my point of this is basically, us being at that place where we are receptive as teachers to new incoming information. In the sense that if a teacher was watching my video, then and that's obviously in alignment with true and lasting reform. The teachers who are currently employed in the education system to be open to newness, It's I guess, yeah, a prayer, a hope, a demand, that I personally hold and maintain, um, in that way. Um, I'm not a second grade teacher. I don't have any, uh, that's not me. But I, you know, understand that we need second grade teachers for sure. Um, in that way. And what's not the business of those teachers is the people that don't understand why we would need second grade teachers. That's not your business, right? But what is your business is, like what I said, encouraging newness. And we could even say just in yourself to start, right? So, okay, I'm feeling kind of this kind of way about this newness, right? New things that are coming in to our experience. And in teaching, it can be difficult because there can be kind of solidified aspects of our curriculum, of our system, um, that are not new at all, for sure. So if we understand the universal motto that I have is in my book, The Reform of the Education System, on Amazon.com, by me, Joseph H. Vertino. The motto is, what is conducive for joy should be uh, found out, pointed out, implemented, amplified, maintained, and sustained as foundational and fundamental, and what is not should be pointed out and removed as least condemnatorily / pessimistically as possible through the light of awareness, positive action, and self-love for the well-being of all. So if that's the motto, why is what I'm saying fitting in with the universal motto? Because newness, it's not even really possible for us to have joy and excitement, which obviously includes safety, without what? Without newness. So if you want a task uh, to achieve a task in the same lane as lasting education reform, it would be what? Uh, Look at whatever needs to be looked at in yourself or in the curriculum, in the hierarchy of the employment, in the seating arrangements at lunch, right, with the staff and stuff, that are going against or denying the truth of the eternal truth of newness, right? As a spiritual guide, I obviously resonate with that truth that when we get up in the morning and we're people that are more spiritual, this is a more apropos to them, basically, that when you get up in the morning, um when you walk outside and you see a sunrise and you see a sun or a sunset at the end of the day, or sunrise at the beginning of the day, that's a new experience forever and ever 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 and ever. So basically, and that, what is that? It's exciting, right? It's exciting. It's exciting because it's safe, right? Because it's something that you didn't have to do anything to make happen. It's like a birthday gift. It's a natural thing. It's not even man-made, but it's new. And whoa, wait, but we know what sunrises are, Joe. Well, we're not writing an essay. We don't even per se have to compare and contrast to the people around us about different sunrise experiences we've had in our life. But it's a new experience nonetheless. So that's exciting. That's joyful. That's conducive for joy. And that's not just conducive for joy for you personally, it's conducive for joy for objectively, right? So that means for who? Students. So what is the things that are in your way, or really it's in the student's way, but in our way, right? As a collective of being in the education system, that are in the way of that experience being an occasion. So one way we could determine that is if a student was on a field trip, or if they go camping, or they go and they tell you about an experience that they had, or whatever beforehand, and they get to an experience, or they have had an experience like that, and they said, well, here's the sunrise. Okay, now what we do is, because we're awesome and we've taught our children language, we can have a conversation. So then basically, then the what was it what was going on during this experience of the sunrise? Did it seem exciting? Did it seem joyful? Was it something that you were you thinking about another thing in your life? Were you feeling any particular way? Were you feeling empty? Mr. Dr. Joe's a Zen Buddhist. He understands about emptiness. He's written a chapter in his book about spirituality in schools and Buddhism in schools. Do you know that you don't, that's just an experience, that's a gift? It's like a gift. And you didn't even expect it. It's like a surprise gift. Surprise gift. So then basically, in that, you can start to, if you decide to actually have the actual correct reform happen, then you would listen to what I'm saying and do it, because it's honest work and it's the work that is most possibly important. So I'm not saying, and if you understand it, though, the maintenance in context of reform is also the work. And I'm not saying that you're not ever, uh, ever, the person, like the teachers aren't doing real work in schools, even if they are, we're in the process of reform, or they aren't able to do blah 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 blah, you know. But basically, uh, so if you listen to the words that I'm saying and you take them seriously, you'll realize that I'm spot on with the advice that I'm giving you about reform. And they are big movements that, if you listen to me and you take it into an objective, uniform, global application, you'd be actually beginning permanent and lasting reform that's conducive for joy. Okay? So basically, that's what this is. I mean, my job as a spiritual guide, and spirit is the all in all, is to guide souls and heal souls, and to bring people into the path towards heaven, right? So if we're not aware of heaven, we're not aware of the path. But the thing is that the path is inevitable. It's called being alive. So now, if you're struggling with life, stop and set an intention. Realize that we have intention. So that's another thing that we could say. What are the I'll give you so that's the first chunk for today, is that example of encouraging newness, um in the teachers, in yourself, and in the students. But it's not about encouraging anything in the children. What it is about, removing the obstacles to what would be them fully enjoying and experiencing newness, individually and collectively, as a student body. So that would be the application for today, which certainly is literally built on the foundation, the intellectual foundation that is the universal motto that I say once at least every video. Basically, if I'm making a series of these, I'm aiming for about 20 minutes. We're at 12 minutes and a half. So going on from there, um, what would be the next thing? Um, so we could talk about something along the lines of some kind of consistency, understanding that it's impossible to outgrow our need for what would that be? Uh uh our need for stability, right? And consistency. Now, if you understand that, this is where faith comes in, right? In that way. But faith is really just an aspect of trust in something bigger than yourself. So we can take this out of the hands of, even though there are no hands being presented right now. So meaning, like, saying, like, if take it out of the hands of what? Faith is a beautiful word that atheists have written about, that are brilliant writers and use the word eloquently, sincerely. But take it out of the hands of what would be a faux pas, and I won't say any more words on that. But basically, what I mean by this is faith in. So the human being, there's definitive attributes that are built into the human being. As I mentioned in an earlier video, there's a list that we have now at this point in our development as a species. We have objective facts of human development. So the education system, and that, which I guess you could say is the field of psychology. So, the field of psychology and the education system, two different fields in that way, both very much ethical and needed and important, right? So then, basically, in that place, now, so what I'm saying is that the education system needs to shake hands with at least that aspect of psychology. So in psychology, if we understand that, um, you, that in psychology and that list has to be known and applied, right, in the education system in order for us to have a optimized one, which is obviously what reform is. So what that means is that if we know, you know, uh, certain things, um, about life already, and then if there are things, so the human beings that are developing are in the education system, we know that we need it to be optimized, which is what reform is. So take the list that we have and employ it on all of the possible levels. So you run it through like your hands, like running through a water through the all the different aspects that we have in our education system. We have to do that. It's not. It's very clear and commonsensical to me because those are developing humans in there, right? So the psychologist's job is simply to say, this is the list that we have. We're very certain. And then our job as the education system is to say, this is the education system, and that's psychology, and thank you. And we're certain. And now take the list, and then and then and then take the list, and then you apply all these different things, right? Like the individuation process, we understand. We understand if you understand the development of the psyche, you understand having to do with proper general atmosphere behavior of adults that are very easily and appropriately supposed to be correlated with trust, with safety, security, stability. Is there any holes between that and the teacher's behavior? The teachers have a very it becomes like a possibly becomes, excuse me, a very strict role in the student's eyes, right? So for example, like me, there was one time where if I go and hang out, play with kids or whatever, and I'm still the person who's serious in myself, in my spirit, because those are children, and if I'm responsible for them, then I immediately become like a monkey ninja and prevent the ball from going into the street and or them all at the same time, right? The whole time that I'm there. And of course, right, I have my head up and I'm not freaking out or whatever. So the teachers are in this place where it can become serious. But if we understand that the teachers are prioritizing the student's experience when you accept your job as a teacher as a career, and I use this phrase very confidently, to me, this makes sense that the career of teachers is a lifelong thing. Not a janitor isn't, a someone who plays golf isn't, but a teacher is. It's like a lifelong career. Okay, it like sticks on you. So then, basically the thing is what is the thing? This is what's I call the truth of the educational truth, right? Of the teacher's perspective is always this by definition. The student's experience is the number one priority. The number one priority. So if you're standing there and well, I won't go further with that. So that's true. Now, the point hasn't really come home yet of we understand in psychology. I'm using an example, and I've already given you the next one. So you had one in the beginning of the video. Now you have a second one with the field of psychology tied into it. So the other one, so that is basically that I'm making a small example because I'm not a professional psychologist and I'm not going further than this tiny little loot is the role of the teacher, no matter what we think, believe, whatever trying to do, the matter of the fact of the situation is there's a natural proclivity in the human who is developing, who is known as a child and or can be considered a student, towards adults that are consistently there, that they and they are not posing as threats. That there's a divide though between if they are acting like some of the teachers are and it becomes a role of strictness and kind of hardness, or between, we could say, this place of peace, and those two fingers are still both the trusted, consistently safe adults. So the preferable thing is obviously the place of peace, right? So like how my hand is, like the gravity is like peace, peace, right? That makes sense. It's not supposed to be uptight. It's this because it's your dharma, right? As teachers, it's your dharma. So now in that way, I guess you could say this would bring me to my final point in this video. I'm writing a book called ROES Bless, a course for teachers. And I can do more writing today. It's something that might not be done for like a year. I don't know. Right now it's 2024. It's November 26th, Tuesday. And this is Dr. Joe Vertino. Like I said, my book, The Reform of the Education System, which is a completed book and hopefully going to get a publisher soon, is on Amazon under Joseph H. Vertino. And yeah, and then basically from there it's let me see. So with what was I going to say about that? A course for teachers, the book, your dharma. Well, we had many points in this video, but anyways, that book isn't finished yet. But the reform of the education system is, and that's on Amazon.com under my name, Joseph H. Vertino. So the point was this: is that in the energy, even, but also in the whole book and the words in it and everything, in a course for teachers, there is a energy in it that will calm you and inspire you naturally in it. I can tell just in the first 25 pages that I've written. And I'm a philosophical individual who loves God and loves language and loves words and happens to be a great writer. And I guess what I love about my writing is I think the main word is inspiring. Now, if you notice that the word inspiring is like you ever see one of those sprinklers that has, you turn it on, it has water jets, but like at least like 5 of them and they're all going in different directions. So my writing is like that because what does inspiring mean? Inspire you to do something. It can inspire you to calm you down. It can inspire you to self-reflect. It can inspire you to be more lighthearted. It can inspire you to travel for the rest of your life. It can inspire you to talk to your family again. All of that counts as inspiring, but all of that is guaranteed 100% good. So we got 3 things today. See if I can recap this and remember this. My book. So what I recommend is the combination of the facts that we have that we know are absolutely certain, starting with the field of psychology, so to speak, taking them as a list that we know are applicable to our field, which as the education system is what? Students who are in guaranteed the stages of human development. You apply what you know is already guaranteed from the other fields because they're experts in that. Okay, right? So then from there, now what you do is with the guarantee, you take it and you apply it through all the possible levels of the education system. And you have to not be afraid of change so as to prevent yourself from actually achieving true and lasting reform. Right? So now you can do that with all the other fields, so to speak. I guess I don't even know. That might kind of dwindle after psychology because it's so potent. I don't even know if there would be any relevance to any of that. Maybe spirituality, in that kind of way, but that's psychology is the whole game. Like there's no other even field almost even that would be involved or necessary. Anyway, we're at 24 minutes. It's supposed to be 20 minutes. And then I guess the other stuff we could say is as teachers, look towards mentors and remain connected. If you don't have one, even if you're a 45-year-old teacher and you've been in the job for what seems like 40 years. I started when I was 5, Dr. Joe, right? If you don't have one, seek one out, a mentor. They can be younger than you, like me. Like if I took on a older person and I was their mentor, even as a healer, that makes me excited. But yeah, so basically that would bring in and put you in your place of peace. And a psychological reason for that, I guess you could say, is a general supportiveness, but on a serious level, that's validating because you're being mentored in your direct role. And then from there, Now you're residing in a place of peace. Now you got me, Mr. Spiritual Guide, going to say something, right? Because I, as a wordy person, understand where words cannot trespass. And now you enter into an area which is what makes life great, not just schools great, right? What makes life great, which has to do with that all in all spirit. Now, I'm not still haven't mentioned any kind of words of belonging, to something that would be a potential disqualifying factor, right? Of like separation of church and state. And I'm proud of myself because it's offensive to think that I have to say certain words, in videos to get by. And yeah, so anyway, so we had three things today. The advice for teachers, which is that. Then there was the what was it? I mean, you could always remind it, but it was the making way for newness and removing what is not conducive for joy as least condemnatorily / pessimistically as possible through the light of awareness, positive action, and self-love for the well-being of all. An example of what that is guaranteed is obstacles to the enjoyment of life, which are matter of factly enemies. We could call them enemies of newness. Now you can seek those out, or you may have already found some, but I pray that if you've seen some, that you now can have a light bulb go off in your head and say, oh, right, that's an enemy of newness. So for example, if someone's coming in and you the least condemnatorily / pessimistically as possible, right? So what we can look at first, which is most appropriate, if not just in total at all, would be not people or like staff around you behavior, even though if you look at someone and you see them and you're like, oh, okay, well, that student says hi to that person every day, that staff member, and then they kind of start to get an attitude, or they seem to be upset about this student saying hi to them consistently. That's inappropriate. Now, what you could do is, I mean, you've noticed that, but is there something reflected in something that you can do about that isn't a person? Like in it, like the curriculum, you go to the different levels of the curriculum. Being involved in certain courses yourself. Is there any in your courses? Check first. Maybe then you can go outside of your area, your realm of what is your curriculum as a teacher, and you can start to apply what I'm saying and actually do it, because we need the world. Yeah, yeah. God's up in heaven like, "Hey Joe, thanks man. Make good videos. Thanks. We need the world, so that's why you're doing this." Yeah, just so you know. They need a reason right now. Yeah, you're at 27 minutes 40 seconds. I think it was November 26th. We need the world. That's why. Okay. Um but anyway, so oh. Anyways, love you so much. Dr. Joe Vertino here, uh ending the video. I pray that you can not feel guilty, but be in a place that's appropriate in yourself, your place of peace, and then from there act. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Angel blessings. All right. Please do share this. All right.